Welcome to Teen Up, a podcast that digs deeper into the thoughts of teenagers' minds about the wonders of the world.
If you're new here, I am your host, Isabella.
And I'm Glenn. If you're not, welcome back.
Here's a quick disclaimer. If we made any mistakes, please email us and tell us. Thank you.
This month, we are revisiting the topic of movies, and we picked another 4 films to talk throughout this month. The first one that we're going to talk about is Call Me By Your Name. Call Me By Your Name is a 2017 film based on the novel by Andre Esseman that goes by the same title. It is directed by Luca Guadagnino and has won the Academy Award for Best Writing Adapted Screenplay.
Okay, so have we talked about Call Me By Your Name, like mentioned it at all in our past episodes? I feel like we have.
We should.
We definitely have, I bet. Because we both absolutely love this movie.
Yes.
And we're really excited to talk about it finally this month, in this episode.
So, first of all, let's have a little short background of the story in case you have not watched this film yet, which is a crime.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
If you have not watched this, I would definitely recommend you to watch it before listening to this episode. But it's okay if you want to listen. I don't think we'll spoil anything major. Before we spoil the major plot point, we will say that we're going to spoil it, so you can stop listening.
Yeah.
So we don't ruin this amazing film for you.
Mm-hmm.
So a short background for the story. This story is set in 1983 in northern Italy, somewhere in northern Italy. And it is basically just about the relationship between a 17-year-old Elio and Oliver, a 24-year-old. And Oliver is the graduate student assistant to Elio's father, who is a professor.
Yeah, I think that greatly summarizes the whole movie. But for sure, this little summary does not do justice for this movie at all. So I'm going to spoil the ending. No, I'm just kidding. No. Despite our likings towards this film, it sure did get some criticism because of the age difference between Elio and Oliver, and Elio being a minor. But honestly, for me, this criticism is whatever. I think it's normal for people to develop feelings for others, and when you develop feelings, you don't really think about the age difference, or when it's right, right?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I feel like we should all follow the law still. But
I mean, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Elio is 17, which is technically legal age of giving consent in where Italy is, according to the internet. So they're not breaking any laws. But I have to say, at the first time that I'm watching this film, it did bother me. This age difference did a little bit bothered me in a way that I was thinking, hold on, how old is Elio? He does not act like a 17-year-old.
Really? I think he is giving me the 17-year-old vibe.
I feel like he does not give me that strong of a 17-year-old, maybe 20-ish. And Oliver is obviously way older than 24. I do not believe that. Okay, it's not me criticizing Armie Hammer, It's just that he's a little bit old, but he's good in this movie. But it did bother me a little bit to see that they have this huge age gap. But this resolved when the movie moved on.
Right. Wait, I think when they filmed this, Timothée Chalamet was 21? And Armie Hammer was 35?
Yeah, see, that's the problem. Because he's way, way older than the age he's playing. I think that's my problem.
Yeah, I see.
this dude is like way too old for him. Because like the age difference is like double in real life. Like, who are you
That's true.
lying?
Yeah.
But this does not bother me at all in the end. Like, at all. I forgot about it. I get past it. And I think you should too. For those haters.
But I think just like within the film, it's I I think the 7-year difference makes their, I don't know, relationship somewhat like special.
Yeah, I guess in a way, but I do see what people mean by them having a power difference in a
Yeah.
way,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
also not quite, because I feel like this is what make this film amazing. So we're getting to the good stuff now.
Yes. Yes.
It is that it portrays both party as vulnerable.
Mhm.
So the power thing, I kind of see it, but also no.
Mhm.
Because sometimes I feel like Elio does have power over Oliver, and
For
sometimes
sure.
Oliver has power over Elio.
Mhm.
And it's going both ways.
Mhm.
And that's what I think real love would look like, you know?
Mhm. I think I just want to like point out like the setting of this story. I love how it is in Italy and like like Italy itself is such a romantic place and romantic country, and the I don't know, and the whole country vibe that the movie is giving off, and how it's set in in the 80s. Yet, like, I don't feel like this movie is directed towards like the age group. I think it's more towards like a coming of age, so it's more for like teens. So we don't really know what happened back in the 80s and how it felt like to live in the 80s. And I think that to like added together, the Italy part and the 80s part added together, we don't know how it feels like to live back then. It's like a whole new experience for us, right?
um, yes and no, I guess. Because for one, okay, it's just me. I feel like there are too many queer 80s media around.
That is true. That is true.
It's a bit much, like how the LGBTQ community was suppressed. Um, but what I'm thinking is, like, of course they were suppressed, and they still are, but like not as bad. Okay, that's just like my little rant.
Mhm.
I feel like
Mhm.
the setting makes it great because it's like an escape. Like
Yes.
being in northern Italy somewhere, because we don't know the place. It's not like
Mhm.
it's in Rome, it's in, say, London. No, we don't know the place. So it's like kind of an escape, because
Mhm. Mhm.
it's unknown.
Mhm.
And also, like, being in the 80s, being the background, makes this more of an escape because their relationship is not accepted by the general public.
Right.
So they need this escape more.
Mhm. Mhm.
And this setting gives them the space to develop this relationship that couldn't have happened.
Mhm. And I also like how Oliver is an American and he has to go back at the end of the movie.
I mean, technically, they're all Americans.
That's right. But it's the fact that the two of them will there is a possibility that the two of them will never like happen again, makes it more of an escape, and it's like not something they could keep in their life. It's just like a short-term little relationship.
I kind of get what you're saying. It's like
Mhm.
in the progress of life, it's more like a missed step.
Yeah, it's like the right person happened at the wrong time.
Uh huh. And that is my favorite genre of movie. I want to talk about this specific scene. Is that
Right.
there were a gay couple visiting them
Mhm.
in the
Mhm.
middle of the movie. I don't think it's like a major spoiler alert, but tiny spoiler alert. Like
Uh-huh.
I think it is very interesting to see Elio's reaction towards them.
Right.
To me, it kind of feels like he's trying to deny his own sexuality by directing these feelings toward the gay couple and to kind of like look down to them in a way. Like, oh, they're so loud. They're like, so flamboyant. Like in the way they dress, the way they act and stuff like that. But in a way, he's just trying to deny himself of having this secret identity.
But I also think that it could be a way of him showing I wouldn't say like full on jealousy, but it also shows how maybe that's the life he wish he could have, but he doesn't know if the society could, accept him for who he is and live such a happy life like that couple is living for years and years. And just the fact that he can't have that with Oliver, I think could also be a reason for his reaction towards the couples.
Yeah, that could be a reason. But I think it's a very interesting place to see what Elio is going through. So let's talk a little bit about the cinematography of this film.
Yes, please.
So one major thing that people talk about this film is that it has a special texture. And I feel like a film having a texture is something that's very hard to explain. I don't really get like texture's meaning, but I kind of like understand how it means. Like when you watch something, you feel like you can smell the smell. You feel like you are in a scene. For example, a raining scene. Maybe you feel the damp air. You smell the damp air, the smell before it raining. And say you're at a party and there's a campfire and the film showcased the campfire and at the time you feel the heat. To me, it's something like that. And I do believe what people are saying on the internet that this film has a texture because it does showcase that very well.
Right.
And I think one major way is through sound. It captures the sound of the environment very well. One example that I want to talk about is whenever they're eating outdoors, it is just like very soothing, to see them eat outdoors. I love like the vibe of eating outdoors.
Yeah. I wish we could do that in Taiwan.
I feel like every time they're eating outdoors, when there's like wind, you can hear the trees and you can hear the cicadas just like, buzzing all around.
Yes.
And that just creates a better atmosphere overall.
I like how I don't know if this is like part of the cinematography, but I like how they give us the feeling of relaxation. Like just watching them play by the pool, or like I could actually feel like I feel refreshed when they jump in the pool, or like I could feel the heat when they are playing, what was it, volleyball?
Yeah, like when Oliver touched Elio.
Yeah.
Which is a very funny dialogue. I really like that dialogue.
Oh my god, yes.
So I feel like what you're trying to say, it sounds to me, is that you're not distracted by the film itself. You can be in the scene. Like you're not distracted by all the bells and whistles and the visuals. And I feel like it is another theme of this movie, or like the filmmaking, is that it is simple. It's nothing too fancy,
Yeah. Yeah.
The editing is simple, and I feel like it's great at creating space, especially space like their room and how there is space between. Wait, could that be a metaphor?
I know.
Okay, another thing that they used in this film is that they used a focal length that is equivalent or like close to what human eyes see. So maybe that could be the reason why it's so enticing and so inviting, because it is similar to what we will see if we are in the scene. It's not too wide. You just see like through your eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I kind of get it.
Like the viewpoint or like the angle that you see. Because you know how like cameras can see more things or less things, right? Like further away. They only use the lens that makes you feel like an actual human eye.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
So that's another thing. Next week, we're going to talk about the ending of the movie.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
We will upload a new episode every Thursday.
Remember to like, follow, and share our podcasts with your friends and family. You could also share your idea and thoughts with us on our Instagram at teenup.podcast.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our channel.
Thank you and bye.